before. When you no longer like yourself. There is a stage in life when you look in the mirror and no longer like the person in front of you. Not just because of your appearance, but because you know you are living below your true potential. You procrastinate more, lack discipline more, and give up more easily. You talk a lot about who you want to become, but your daily actions are not taking you anywhere. You still live normally. You still go to work, go to school, eat, sleep, talk, and smile. But deep inside, you know everything is going downhill. You are no longer as confident as before. No longer excited about life, no longer feeling like you are making progress. As each day passes, you get more used to stagnation, and that is what is truly frightening. The most painful part is not that you are doing badly. The most painful part is that you know you could be so much better, but you are not doing anything seriously enough to change. You begin living with a quiet disappointment in yourself, and the more disappointed you are, the more you want to hide. Before is not just a starting point. It is the period when you begin to realize that you do not want to live like this forever. That moment is the most important of all, because before there can be a transformation, there must be one moment when you honestly admit, I need to change. Everyone wants the after, but not everyone can endure the process. Everyone likes seeing results. Everyone likes beautiful before and after pictures, a better body, a more confident face, a more admirable life. People look at the after and feel inspired. But what very few people truly understand is this. The after does not come from inspiration. It comes from the process of repeating very boring things. Everyone wants to look better, but they do not want to let go of bad habits. Everyone wants success, but they do not want discipline. Everyone wants to change quickly, but they do not have enough patience to endure the days when there are no results. That is why many people enjoy watching transformation, but do not truly step into the journey themselves. The distance between before and after is not created by one explosive day. It is created by hundreds of ordinary days. Days when you still do the right thing even when no one is watching. Days when you are tired but keep going. Days when you want to quit but still come back. People usually only see the final result, and not the very quiet days behind it. But those are the days when a person is truly rebuilt from the beginning. A beautiful after is not beautiful because it is perfect. It is beautiful because it was made from countless times of not giving up. Change often begins with pain. People rarely change for real just because they heard a good quote. Most of us only change when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing. When you are too tired of yourself, too exhausted by your old habits, too disappointed that life is passing by and you are still going nowhere. Maybe it is when you see an old photo of yourself and realize your eyes used to look different. Maybe it is when you feel your body declining. Maybe it is when you lose an important opportunity. Or maybe it is just one very ordinary night when you sit alone and can no longer keep lying to yourself that everything is fine. Pain wakes you up. It forces you to look directly at the present. It forces you to ask yourself, if I continue living like this for a few more years, can I handle it? And if the answer is no, that is the beginning. Many transformation journeys look beautiful on the outside, but in reality they begin in very dark moments. Sleepless nights, times of crying alone, moments of hating yourself. No one sees that part, but that is exactly where the decision to change is formed. Sometimes pain does not come to destroy you, it comes to wake you up. Change does not begin with inspiration but with a decision. A lot of people wait until they feel motivated before they begin. They think they need to feel ready, strong, inspired first before they can change. But if you keep waiting like that, you will wait for a very long time. Because inspiration comes and goes. Life does not stand still and wait for you. Real change begins with one very simple decision. I will not live like this anymore. Not tomorrow, not next month, but starting now. That decision may happen very quietly, but it has more power than any dramatic promise. When you truly decide, you will start taking action. It does not have to be big. It does not have to be perfect. It just needs movement. One walk, one focused hour, one better meal, one time going to bed early, one time keeping a promise to yourself. That is when transformation begins. Many people do not change, not because they are incapable, but because they have not truly decided. They still want the result, but they still leave an escape route for the old version of themselves. But the after cannot appear if the before is still in control. One right decision does not change your life in a single day, but it changes the direction of your life. And once the direction is right, all you need to do is keep going. The first days are always hard, and that is normal. The beginning of any change is uncomfortable. You are not used to it yet, not good at it yet. You do not see results yet. Your body hurts, your mind resists, your emotions are unstable. You will feel like you are trying very hard without getting anything clear in return. And that is when many people quit. They think that if the path is right, it should feel easier. It should feel better immediately. But no, that initial discomfort does not mean you are on the wrong path. It often means you are breaking apart an old version of yourself. And every breaking process creates friction. When you begin living with more discipline, the old version of you will resist. It will tell you that skipping one day does not matter, that doing a little less is fine, that you do not need to change that extremely. If you do not understand this, you will think you are not meant for change. But in reality, this is simply the stage everyone has to go through. The first days do not need to be beautiful, they just need to exist. You just need to not disappear from the journey. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to continue. Because no after picture is created from a perfect process. It is created from many clumsy but persistent days. Big change is built from very small habits. A lot of people ask what the secret behind a before and after journey is. They hope to hear about some special method or hidden secret. But the truth is usually very simple. Big change is built from small things repeated over and over. Waking up earlier, eating better, training more consistently, complaining less, procrastinating less, talking less, and doing more. One small action by itself may not create any obvious difference, but hundreds of small actions, repeated over weeks and months, will create a completely different person. That is how before and after are connected. You do not become stronger in one impulsive moment. You grow stronger in the mornings when you still wake up on time even when you do not want to. You become more confident when you start doing the things that make you respect yourself. You become more mature when you stop betraying yourself in the little things. Good habits do not only change actions, they change how you see yourself. Every time you stay disciplined, even in a very small way, you are sending yourself a message. I am someone who does what I say I will do. And that is the foundation of real confidence. If you want an after you can be proud of, start with things so small that you no longer have an excuse to avoid them. There will be days when you want to go back to your old self. Not because you like the old version of yourself, but because it is familiar. The old version may be stagnant, weak, undisciplined, but it gives you comfort. It does not force you to try. It does not force you to grow up. It does not force you to take responsibility for your life. So there will be days when you want to go back. You want to skip the workout. You want to live carelessly like before. You want to sleep in, eat whatever you want, ignore your schedule, ignore your goals. That is completely normal. Because the brain always prefers what is familiar over what is right. This is when many people sabotage themselves. They make some progress, then one day they feel too bored or too tired, and they give themselves permission to take a little break. The problem is not one day off. The problem is that they do not know how to come back after that. One day turns into a week, 1 week turns into a month, and then they are back at the starting point. The person who truly changes is not the one who never slips. It is the one who returns very quickly after slipping. If they miss one workout, they come back the next one. If they have one bad day, they do not turn it into a reason to quit the whole journey. Your old self will always try to pull you back, But the more times you refuse to go back, the more you prove that the new version of you is truly being formed. When other people start to notice that you have changed. There is a very special moment in every transformation journey, the moment other people start to notice your change. At first, no one pays attention. You quietly train, improve yourself, stay disciplined. Everything happens too slowly for others to see. Some people do not even believe you will change. But if you are persistent enough, one day they begin to notice. Maybe they say you look better. Maybe they notice your eyes are more confident, your presence stronger, your way of living calmer. Not just your appearance, but your energy changes too. That is when you realize that real change is not only on the outside, it is in the way you carry yourself. When you begin respecting yourself, other people can feel it. When you live by principles, you do not need to talk much. People can still see it. But this is also when you need to stay alert. Do not let praise make you stop too early. Other people's approval may feel good, but it must not be the only reason you continue. If you only live for praise, you will collapse the moment no one is looking anymore. The most beautiful kind of change is when you look back at your old self and know one thing for sure, you no longer want to go back there. After is not the finish line, but a new identity. A lot of people think that after is the ending. As long as they look better, feel stronger, become more successful, then it is over. But if you go deep enough into the journey of change, you will realize this. After is not one final photo. It is a new person you must continue living as every single day. You cannot just try hard once and expect the result to stay forever. A healthy body needs a lifestyle that supports it. Confidence needs standards of living that support it. Every achievement needs an identity strong enough to keep it. Otherwise, after is only a short moment before everything falls back to how it used to be. What matters most is that you no longer do the right thing only because you force yourself to. You do it because that is the kind of person you want to become. You no longer train just to have a good photo. You train because you are someone who takes care of your body. You no longer work hard just to prove something. You do it because you are someone who takes responsibility for your life. That is when change moves from the surface into your core. When you not only have the result, but also a new identity strong enough to keep that result. The most beautiful after is not when other people admire you. It is when you are mature enough to live as your better self, even on the days when no one is watching. Everyone has their own before, after journey. When people hear before and after, many immediately think of physical appearance. But the most beautiful kind of change is not only about the body. It can be the before and after of quitting a bad habit, the before and after of stopping procrastination, the before and after of walking out of a dark season, the before and after of starting to live with more responsibility toward yourself. Everyone has their own before and after journey. It does not need to look like anyone else's. It does not need to follow the standards of social media. What matters most is whether you are moving closer to the version of yourself that you respect. For some people, before is insecurity, giving up, losing direction. After is someone who still has struggles, but now knows where they are going. For some, before is a tired body and a weak spirit. After is someone healthier, clearer, stronger. Not perfect, but more mature. You do not need to transform overnight. You do not need to prove anything to everyone. You just need to begin, then continue, then refuse to quit before the results appear. Little by little, the new version of you will begin to show up. And one day, when you look back at who you used to be, you will understand. The most beautiful before and after picture is not the one that makes other people admire you. It is the one that makes you grateful that you did not give up on yourself. If you enjoyed this, please click the subscribe button below. I'd really appreciate a like and a subscription to support the channel and help you catch even more great videos in the future. Thank you so much.